Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernest Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. The Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl is between the Miami Ohio Redhawks and the Appalachian St Mountaineers. Me and WillND, we're going to be breaking down every single bowl game this year in college football, and we've already done the first two bowl games with the Myrtle Beach Bowl and the New Orleans Bowl. Now it's on to the Cure Bowl, and both of these teams are fairly solid. Miami Ohio, they won the MAC. They went 11-2. Even though the MAC conference was really bad this year, most years it is, but still winning the conference is impressive. Chuck Martin's done a really good job as the head coach of Miami Ohio. And this season, his team has some solid players. Brett Gabbert, the brother of Blaine Gabbert, he had 1,634 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 5 picks. So he took care of the ball pretty well. Running back Rashad Amos had 895 yards and 12 touchdowns, so they have a solid ground game. And Gage Lavardian, he had 643 yards and 6 touchdowns. The FBI predictor has it being a close matchup, with them giving Miami Ohio a 47.5% chance to win. And Miami Ohio's schedule, they lost to Miami in the first week of the regular season, but that is the Hurricanes. You're really not expecting them to win, even though that would have been huge since Middle Tennessee State beat Miami the year before. Then they beat UMass, won at Cincinnati, which Cincinnati had an awful season this year, but still a good win over a Power 4 conference team, since Cincinnati's in the Big 12 now. They beat Delaware State, knocked off Kent State, who had a bad year. They beat Bowling Green 27-0. Bowling Green actually had a pretty solid year. Then they beat Western Michigan. They lost to Toledo, but they got revenge on the Rockets in the conference championship game. They beat Ohio. That was a good win. Beat Akron, Buffalo, Ball State, and then again, they beat Toledo, like I said. Chuck Martin, he does not have the greatest record as the head coach of Miami, Ohio, but still he's gotten them to the point where now they're one of the better teams in the MAC. And winning the MAC this year, that is the best season that he has had so far. So they definitely deserve a lot of credit. But App State is favored in this game by around 6 points. They also have the FBI predictor on their side as well. They did go to the Sun Belt Championship game, but that was because James Madison was disqualified from going because they're still transitioning over to the FBS. But Joey Aguilar still had a good year that deserves a lot of credit. 3,546 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Very underrated quarterback in college football. Nate Noel at running back at 834 yards and 5 touchdowns. And you had Caden Robinson with 787 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns at wide receiver. So App State is comparable stats with their top rusher and top receiver, but the quarterback position they definitely shine with Aguilar having a lot more yards than Brett Gabbert. You look at what App State did this year. They beat Gardner-Webb in week 1, almost beat North Carolina on the road. That would have been a huge win, especially because App State is known for playing spoiler right when they knocked off Texas A&M last year and when they also knocked off Michigan back in 2007. Then they beat ECU, lost to Wyoming on the road. That was a tough loss. Wyoming's tough to beat Laramie. Then they barely beat UL Monroe. That was not a good win there because they barely won. UL Monroe did not have a good season. They lost to Coastal Carolina when they had Grayson McCall. They lost to Old Dominion, not the greatest loss there. But then they beat Southern Miss. They beat Marshall. They beat Georgia State, knocked off James Madison in their best win of the season. For James Madison, that was their only loss this year. Then they beat Georgia Southern, and then they lost to Troy in the Sun Belt Championship game. Shawn Clark, he's done a good job to continue having App State as one of the better programs in the Sun Belt. App State's been a consistently good program the last few years, but they did take a bit of a step back. But overall, they still had a good year, going 8-5, making the conference championship game, even though James Madison being disqualified is why they got into the game. Still can't say it was a bad season for App State, but me and WillND, we make our predictions for whether we think that Miami, Ohio, the team that won the MAC and had the best season under their head coach, Chuck Martin, can they get this win and be able to knock off App State to move to 12-2 on the season? Or can App State, who is a superior offensive team to Miami, Ohio, and they play in a better conference in the Sun Belt, can they knock off Miami, Ohio in the Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl to get their 9th win? Up next, we got on ABC, 3:30, the Avocados for Mexico Cure Bowl. I love how these names and sponsorships keep changing, by the way. It's like you got now Avocados for Mexico. Like, I love that one commercial. I don't know if you've seen it, Will, where they got the coach, and the other guy, and the quarterback comes over, and they're like, "You're not going to start this game." And the dude's like, "You just benched me singing the Avocados for Mexico theme song or whatever."
Yeah,
like, well, they are healthy and they taste good. He's like, "Get the other tray and a kicker," because the kid going to bench the kicker as well. It's hilarious. It just cracks me up, that commercial. But, yeah, so Miami, Ohio, obviously they just won the MAC. And App State just got obliterated by Troy. So that does not look good for App State. right here, you've got, according to the opt-outs page, App State only has one linebacker. Miami, Ohio is nobody. But they've got App State favored by 5.5.
Yeah, no love for the MAC.
So they really think the MAC is bad. So how do you think that's going to impact things, Will? Are you going to back the MAC and go with the champs, or are you going to go with a App State team that, again, they're in a better league, but had an ugly performance against Troy and overall was outside the James Madison?
I feel like App State always wins their bowl, so I'm gonna have to agree with the odds makers here. I feel like App State always gets prepared for a bowl, so I'll go App State 28-24.
This is tough because, again, I have to agree with you. They always win. They're a well-coached program, even though they've had multiple coaches run through there. They are always consistent. And the Sun Belt's a lot better. Like, I know we picked Ohio, but Georgia Southern hasn't been that great this year, especially their defense, which while Ohio might be able to score enough points. I want to go with Chuck Martin and Miami, Ohio. I really do. But, like, they had a couple of bad performances this year. And App State, to be able to beat James Madison, like, could Miami, Ohio do that? Could Toledo do that? I don't know. I'll probably go with App State as well to win 28-24. I think it'll be close. Because, I mean, none of these teams are that great. I mean, they're group of 5 teams, and none are like the big name group of 5 teams. I almost went with Miami, Ohio because winning the MAC was impressive, but the MAC was pretty bad this year. So I will go with App State. But I would not be shocked at all if the Miami, Ohio win if App State plays like they did against Troy. I know Troy's good, but that was an ugly performance. App State's going to have to step up that defense. And even though they don't have Chase Bryce anymore, their quarterback play took a bit of a step back, but it still wasn't awful this year. I think they will squeak out a win in the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think that Miami, Ohio, or Appalachian State will win the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl, and what you think about me and WillND's predictions for this game. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.